What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pedro and Hannibal YouTube channel. I'm Hannibal. I'm in the wrong position. And I'm hanging out with my good
Go.
buddy, Pedro. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Listen, I got to show you something. It's very special. We're doing it on the fly.
Whoa,
I know
whoa,
you
whoa,
know.
whoa. What are you showing? Oh, I thought you were doing something else. I thought you were showing something else.
Nah,
Oh,
nah,
yeah.
big pun.
Big pun, yeah.
Big
Oh,
pun.
that's a nice shirt, actually. That's
It
from...
actually is, man. It was gifted to me. It's kind of cool. It feels, fits good. It's got the old Big Pun on it. R.I.P. Big Pun.
Yeah, it looks like his album cover from his first album.
Yeah,
Like the big
Capital Pun.
Capital Punch, yeah, the big one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a nice shirt. That's a cool shirt. Usually, Pedro, he's the king of fashion. He's always got these interesting shirts on, representing. He's got chains. He got multiple chains around his neck.
I'm
You know,
definitely not the king of
I'm
fashion.
just, you're looking kind of fresh tonight. I mean, I'm looking like I'm homeless, but it's a good, balance between the two.
We're good.
Um,
We're good.
so I may be going in and out of cam because my lady actually has to go to work and get ready to go to work. She's doing an overnight shift.
Mm,
Terrible. I used to work overnight, hated it, never
man.
enjoyed it. I worked overnights at UPS. Like it's god awful. Don't do it, guys.
So how long is she gonna have to do these overnights, or is it just is it like a new schedule for her, or what?
It's she gotta do different schedules because of the job that she's doing.
Yeah,
Wait, that sound like a trash can? Oh, I need to check. I need to fix that. Give me a second. Let me see what I'm
I think
doing
it sounds good.
wrong. Yeah, I do hear myself though. So let me see. But anyway,
I'll say hi in
um,
the chat. We got
yeah.
Giggity, Kenneth, Big Carl, Falaya. Hello, hello. Appreciate you. We had a Lions fan, Stevie Wonderful, also a channel member. Detroit. We got Giggity talking about the Ravens. I'm gonna drop something on y'all tonight that you guys are not gonna like. I got an upset pick just for you, Giggity. So we'll get into some football things and some other things tonight. So
Awesome. Let me make sure I got the right mic being used. Let's see. How about this? It sounds better? Same?
that sounds better.
Hopefully different. I'm using this wireless headset, so it may be all over the place.
No, I think that sounds good.
Cool. You gotta move? You gotta start moving? Huh? Oh, you're not answering me. Hello?
Hannibal is a man of many things at one time.
Okay, she's not even, I don't think she thinks I'm talking to her. Anyway, let's get into it. Yes, I was talking to you. That was what just let me know. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, Joel Embiid, 70 points. You didn't watch the game, did you?
I didn't watch it, but I saw it on the YouTube little feed of mine, and like 70 piece in 37 minutes. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Listen, this game, no one played defense. It was 123 to 133. Apparently, 18 years to the day of Kobe's historic 81-point game where he beat the shit out of the Toronto Raptors. Jalen Rose is on that team.
Jalen Rose, yep.
It was a really funny commercial that ESPN used to put on with Kobe, and like throughout the whole commercial, Kobe just harassing Jalen by saying 81 to anything that was happening.
Yeah,
it was kind of hilarious.
I feel like Jalen Rose has been a really good sport about that. He just, he's not like, he doesn't get butthurt when people bring it up. It's Kobe Bryant. It is what it is. So
yeah, definitely. Because what you want is you don't want to get too. I mean, it happened. I mean, you just got destroyed. It is what it is. It's Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest of all time. So you have to kind of just let that one go. But yeah, Jalen's always cool about that. I'm probably gonna try and watch that game. Usually, I don't watch a lot of like older basketball games. I probably should because it's probably like some really good quality entertainment with that. But unless it's boxing, I don't watch old stuff. But when someone scores 70 points, I gotta see what the hell was going on, right?
I mean, I saw a stat line: 41 shots in 37 minutes. That a ridiculous amount of shots. I'm imagining he had to have hit some of his threes, probably got fouled a lot of free throws. To get to 70 points, you got to have both of those things happen. But that's crazy, man. I mean, Joel Embiid's been on a tear, man, for the last 2 years. It's been nuts.
I want to see how much money, how much points Wemby scored. Looking at, he scored 33. So it was like, listen, we're just gonna just let one guy do everything, and they only won by 10 points. And like they got blown out or anything. So
Yeah.
still kind of remarkable that went on. But first, actually, let's do one more basketball story. Let's do this real quick before we start talking about the NFL stuff. So, Udonis Haslem, I'm sure, I don't know, Pedro's familiar, but I don't know if a lot of other people are familiar. So, Udonis Haslem played for the Miami Heat for about 4,000 years. He was there from the inception. Like he played for one team his whole career, got all the rings because he was there when they won all of them, obviously. When Dwayne Wade and then LeBron, like he was there for what, 20 something years?
Yeah, I think he was. I feel like I think he made it to 20 years.
Definitely over. Yeah. So the Miami Heat, because obviously he's retired. I guess he's been retired for at least a year or two at this point. The Miami Heat decide to retire his jersey. Now, when I first heard about this, I thought, that's weird. I'm like, all right, cool. I guess Miami Heat, they really like him. They seem like they're really loyal to their players. I was like, cool, that's fine. But apparently, an NBA player by former Hall of Famer NBA player, Paul Pierce, did not agree with it either. So let me show you the picture real quick.
Paul Pierce.
So this was on Steven Jackson's Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It said, felt like the real ones got the jersey retired, blah, 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 blah. And you can see comments, especially the most popular comment of the picture. And that is legit. Paul Pierce said, "This one given, bro. Just saying."
Paul Pierce. Why is Paul Pierce such a fucking hater all the time?
I thought that too, because he's been saying some odd stuff. He doesn't like Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Is it just I was reading about this. Is it just the hate between the Heat and the Celtics? Like, is it just that?
I think there's something. I think it has a little bit to do with that because obviously that rivalry and the LeBron and the Ray Allen deal.
Yeah.
Ray Allen leaves the Celtics, goes to Miami, wins the chip. But it has to be Paul Pierce be hating. But is Haslem really? I feel like I know where you're going to go with this, so I'll argue the other side. So I want to get your perspective on what you think. Is this a good thing, bad thing? Is he deserving? Is he not?
Hold on, we gotta see what Bobby said. That's not funny. It's not funny. But why? You know why it's funny? Because me and Bobby, and probably you, watched that David Chappelle show, and they made fun of it because it was like every time you do something, you say the player's name. So like Kobe, like what you do, obviously. And then he showed a scene of getting stabbed, and the guy said Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
And why we laugh at? Like, why are we laughing?
I mean, because it's funny, I guess. I don't know.
It really isn't, but it's kind of, I don't know.
Kind of
funny. So I try to research, okay, what did Haslem do other than being there? And obviously he was a great teammate, and he probably took less money to stay there, but who was gonna pay that money anyway? And he was basically a coach on that 12th man squad.
The last like 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah. He wanted to beat up Jimmy Butler for Eric Spoelstra. Like that fight would have, like, I know Jimmy Butler's from, he's from the hood, but Haslem, I wouldn't fight. I don't want to fight Haslem.
Haslem's different. He ain't got nothing to lose, and he's different. He's way different.
He's from Miami, I think, right? So it's a good story for the whole thing. So I looked it up. So Haslem has the most rebounds in Heat history. Okay. And he obviously has the all-time leader in games played because he's been there for 1,000 years, or second, minutes, field goal. So he's been there for a minute. But you see, he joins, actually, let me get Bobby's comment out. He joins Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Shaquille O'Neal, Alonzo Mourning, and Tim Hardaway. Is Udonis Haslem the player of any of those players? Like,
no. I can't argue that. He's definitely not a Hall of Famer. All these guys here are. I don't know. Is Tim Hardaway in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He's probably borderline.
These guys are perennial all-stars. All these guys have been all-stars multiple times. Played on USA basketball team. Like, these guys are cream of the cream in the NBA. At one point, they're some of the best players in the league. Haslem's never been that. But while I'll say I don't think it's a little surprising, it's not. Only because in Heat, you have that Miami Heat culture, right? That's kind of what they're known for, right? The culture of that team. And he was a big part of that. So I think he's been an integral part of them having some sustained success. He's from he went to Florida Gators. He won back-to-back national championships in college, which doesn't mean anything in the NBA, but it's part of his legacy. It's part of who he is. He played for only the Heat. So I think, he garners a lot of respect from the fans, from the organization. So I think it's almost like if they don't do it, he might, and some of the fans might feel some type of way, because he is, this organization hasn't been around a long time. It's not the Celtics and the Lakers, right? Where you got all these great players, but he's a big part of that Heat culture. So I'm not surprised that he got it, but is he as deserving as far as what he did on the court as the other guys? Absolutely not. No, because he didn't do what those guys did.
Okay, so apparently Tim Hardaway got into the Hall of Fame 2 years ago. I didn't even know.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I don't know all his numbers. I know that I was really annoyed with him as he gave my Knicks problems every goddamn year. Like I could not stand him. But the dude, I mean, yeah, Hardaway, he was the beast. And I love this comment by Bobby. The next generation of Heat will look up at his jersey and ask, "Who the hell is that?" Probably, I mean, kind of funny, but I mean, obviously, for him to be there, he's going to be a fixture in that organization. Nah, son, he shouldn't have his jersey retired. That's ridiculous.
You don't think so?
Nah,
I just mentioned.
Yeah, no. Those are all positive things, but there's been a few players that've been here 1,000 years. Retired in Jersey. They could have honored him in lots of different ways. All old players get honored in different ways, but the jersey retired, it's a family thing. Definitely, it's your head coach is about to get divorced. Don't hit him. Yeah, listen, we're gonna hook up with check contract after you get your stuff taken. That kind of love, and it was just cool. But Paul Pierce being petty, I mean, we can discuss that. It's a hatred that we don't have anymore in sports teams. We really don't. We really don't. And shout out to Alyssa for $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Really appreciate. But you know what I mean? Like that hatred, you don't have it. Dwayne Wade, that hatred, the Heat teams, the Paul Pierce, the Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen going to the Heat and Kevin Garnett hated him for years. Now with LeBron loves Steph Curry, they all hanging out. They all have the same agents. I mean, Draymond is crazy, but he likes LeBron because I think he signed LeBron's sports. I think they got some kind. Yeah. So
yeah,
the hate. There's no hatred. I mean, Giannis. I think he at least has that. I don't want to be your friends. I'm going to do my thing. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it's not there anymore, man.
It's not. But these guys, they're more friendly to each other. It is a little weird.
They're business partners, which makes sense. Everyone is making a little bit of money. I saw Russell Westbrook. Apparently, he's about near $400 million.
Dude, I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. I like him.
Yes.
I got his jersey. He gets a lot of crap, but I like Russell a lot. I think what he's doing with the Clippers, being a good team. I love me some Russell.
That's a dangerous team. That's a dangerous team, the Clippers. Yeah,
it is if they stay healthy. But I think for me, Big Carl has a good thing. Loyalty should be rewarded. And I agree. Sure. If you play for one organization for 20 years, and you're a multiple NBA champion, and you're really an extension of the coaching staff, and helping the team with that culture, holding guys accountable, there's some intangibles there that he has, right? That other guys that maybe were better, but you could be a better player but only play 10 years or whatever. But 20 years, man, for one organization in this day and age, when he probably at some point he probably could have left and got more money somewhere when he was still kind of doing his thing, rebounding, defense. So on the court, no. But if you take everything, you encompass everything that he's done for the organization, I can see why he did it. I can see why they did it.
Yeah, it's definitely a loyalty play, and I'll say both sides took care of each other. Where it's been a time where Dallas hasn't, probably shouldn't have been in the league, but he kept him on the roster, like I said, for those intangibles, and I'm sure he took a few mil off because to stay in that team, because just like working a W-2 job, you don't want to stay. They tell you you shouldn't stay at a W-2 job for too long. You should probably leave in about every 2-3 years. Give him the gold watch. I'm sure he got 3 rings, man.
He's got rings.
Because you can always make more money, and you potentially lose money if you decide to go and stay for a company for 20 years, like back in the day.
It's a good point. Yeah. And that's even with W-2s. Yeah, I think the going rate is like a lot of people get that 7-year itch, right? They say when you get to 7 years, or even like you said, a couple nowadays, you want to start evolving and trying. When you leave one company or one sports team and you go to another company or another team, that other team or company, as an external candidate, is going to usually pay you more money than if you stay and sign on internally or get promoted internally. So leaving jobs or leaving teams is usually a great financial decision. But I think that's part of the whole Udonis Haslem mystique, is that he's kind of broke the mold and did things differently. And while he wasn't ever the best player on his team, he was never the 4th or 5th best player. Once he left college, he wasn't. So, on the court, different, but he does lead the franchise in rebounding. So that's a
big deal. I mean, that's something.
They've had some great players, some bigs come out of that organization. So longevity there. It is a little weird when you look at the other names in the rafters and you see him. It's like you're looking at the jersey and looking at it a little bit differently. So
you're like, who? Really? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
cool.
who's that guy? Like, if you take your son to be like, I don't know who that guy is. I know who O'Neal is. I know who Lamorning, but I don't know Haslam. Who's that guy? Like, yeah.
It's funny. They asked. It was in the what do you call it? It was in the live too, not the live, the Instagram. And someone asked Steven Jackson, "Where would you like your jersey to be retired?" He's been around a few teams, a
few teams,
Golden State and Spurs. He said Charlotte.
Well, Charlotte is Charlotte Bobcats is where he was the best. He put up his best numbers in Charlotte.
True, but like there was no, I would assume maybe the Spurs. He helped them win a championship. Yeah, I don't know. That was interesting.
Does Charlotte even have? Well, right now it's the Hornets. I mean, the Bobcats didn't have anybody really good back in the day, for real.
Oh no, they had what's that dude? Fuck, Gerald Wallace. Okafor. Gerald Wallace.
They had Wallace. I mean, they had some bad teams for a long time.
I mean, at one point, they tried to make Wallace like the guy. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's all bad those teams.
Wallace will give you 25.
Yeah, but he was no leader, though. I don't think he was like a guy that was going to take it to the next level.
Well, neither was Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson wasn't like that either.
True.
He was a bucket, but he wasn't a leader. He wasn't going to be like a guy that's going to win you a championship by himself. Neither one of those guys. No.
Yeah, Carl says Udonis Haslem had that dog in him. So when someone has that dog in him, like what you like? What's your interpretation when someone says that? Like he got that dog in him.
I think it's somebody that has a little swag, a little grit. They're not afraid to do the things others might not. They're the anti-diva. They're not like look at me all the time. Right? They got a lot of fight in them. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I think I see that term a lot in football, where certain guys are willing to do certain things on the field that others might not. They call them dogs or whatever. It's a common thing.
I like that meme that's there where there's like someone shows like a skeleton like X-ray, and it was like there's a little picture of a dog inside of him. Like
it's been a while since I've seen that, but that's.
Listen, I laugh at the simplest shit. That's how
you like that like weird kind of like humor kind of shit a little bit, don't you?
I feel like it's an insult, but I'm gonna pass. You try to say a little different.
A little different. There's nothing wrong with different.
You're trying to play me. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about that other guy that has the dog in him, Lamar Jackson, man.
Bro, listen.
He does have that dog. He's one of the more physical quarterbacks I've seen. Like, and it seems like, dude, you're not, Big Ben, man. You can't just be Cam. He's not big of those guys, but he's always in the shit.
Yeah, he's faster than those guys, so he can maneuver and weigh his way to where he's not taking big hits. He's still a pretty big dude. I mean, he's a big man still, but Lamar listen. First, I got to say, I placed my bet. I doubled my money. I went money line 49ers, money line Ravens, money line Lions. I stayed away from the Chiefs and Bills. I doubled my money, so that was nice. I cashed that check today. Feeling good about myself.
Congratulations. That was some really solid picks right there. I think, the game that no one knew was the Chiefs and Bills. But the Baltimore Texan game, it was pretty, it was kind of tight in the first
Yeah.
first half, right? It was 10-10, I think.
Yeah, it
And
was.
I was feeling it. I was feeling a little like, oh, okay, this is weird. What's going on here? Was it we thought it was like just rust? They haven't played in a while. Like we thought was the reason.
I think Houston's defense in the first half played pretty good. So I think, and they made, obviously they had a punt return touchdown. That helps you. Usually when you do the game, you're going to, so that was a big deal there. But the Ravens came out, and I think they just had a little cobwebs in the first half. They obviously didn't play last week. The Texans did. Second half, they came out. I mean, Lamar Jackson was throwing that thing around everywhere, rushing. I think he had, 4 touchdowns? I mean, Lamar Jackson's going to win MVP. He's one of the better players in the NFL right now, regardless of position. And somebody's mentioning the 49ers made you sweat. Yeah, that was an interesting game.
We'll talk about that one too.
Packers look pretty good, obviously. 49ers going to have some injuries. We've talked about it. Deebo Samuels didn't play that game a lot. That hurts them. He might not play next week. Lions beat the Buccaneers, and that was kind of close at one point. 8-point game with a couple minutes to go. Lions squeaked out the win. Chiefs beat the Bills. That was a phenomenal game. I watched all that last night. I'm not too surprised. I want to get your take, man. The Bills, they cannot beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. They've never beat they're 0-3. Josh Allen can't beat Patrick Mahomes in the postseason. It's a problem for him.
Yeah, it is a problem. And the issue is that, every time Josh Allen is every offseason now, it's like a question: is this your guy? Is this the guy that we should keep for the future? Is it the coach? I'm listening to the sports radio, and they got people throwing out maybe change the coaching staff. Bill Belichick, maybe he be the guy that could put him over the hump. Like wait. Bill Belichick's gonna figure this out. Like Bill Belichick is not figuring out quarterbacks. He's not the quarterback whisperer guy. He'll help the defense and special teams, but he's not the guy that's going to fix whatever is going on. And it's interesting because Josh, it's always a close game. It's always a close game. It's always
every the last minute, basically. Yeah, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
The field goal kick was wide right. I don't know what that guy. Apparently, he deleted his social media after that, which makes sense because people are just dumb. Like, people are just dumb. That guy, the low point of his career, you got to go into social media, make the jokes, and then the threats. There's also the threats is probably the more disgusting part. It's like, why are you threatening him? Because you bet on the Bills? You shouldn't have bet that game.
It's a football game. You can't, Bills Mafia, man, they do a lot of great things for that community over there, and all. Bills Mafia, they go strong, but when they get mad, they're angry, man. They're bodacious. People gotta chill. It's a sporting event. We can get passionate. But you can't be threatening human beings online. It's just
that happens in every sport. Anytime, the whole, the kind of like when someone makes a mistake, they will go after that person.
Yeah.
And especially the kicker. Then it's another narrative that every time this happens, kicking shouldn't be a point of the game. It shouldn't be deciding on the kick. And I'm like, this is the game of football. It's offense, defense, and special teams. You get hype when they get the punt returns, or when it actually works out. A 50-yard field goal. That's the Texans. Going back to the Texan game, their special teams kept them in the game when they probably shouldn't have. Right? At one point. So I'm done. Yeah, I thought I was on the Skip Bayless thing. Like, yeah, get rid of kicking. Nah, keep it. Maybe because everyone don't want it. Like, no, keep this thing.
It's interesting because I think there's been a lot of great games that end in kicks, right? Yeah. One way or the other. A guy misses the last second one. We've seen it in Super Bowls. The Bills kicker in the 90s misses it versus the New York Giants, right? And that was a big deal back then, right? And then we see this game. We see Justin Tucker kicking 60-yard field goals for game winners, and Adam Vinatieri, and like all these players and winning Super Bowls in the last second. It's kind of cool to watch, right? If you're on the winning end of it. But I would say it would be interesting to imagine the NFL. Let's just talk for a second. Imagine the NFL where there is no kicking, no field goals. Okay.
4 downs, that's it.
You get 4 downs. and then if you don't make it in 4 downs, the other team gets the ball. So what you're doing is you're gonna have a different type of excitement. You're gonna have more plays, more yardage, more possible turnovers, more a little more excitement, because the kicking only becomes exciting at the end of games. If you kick a field goal with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, not a big deal. There's no excitement. You get points, it's great. But the exciting thing only happens at the end of games. Okay? So if you take away the possible excitement of a field goal kick, and most games don't end in a game-winning field goal, right? But if instead you add in 20 additional plays of offense, some fans might like that.
And you guys in the comments and chat, tell me your opinion. Do you think we should get rid of kicking? The the two things I can think of right now is I think the kicking, especially when it's the end of the game and it is that you need that 3 points to win. It's cinematic. It's actually a lot of adrenaline. You don't know with this one guy that this is it. Actually, it's 2 guys. Actually, it's a lot. It's the line got to hold the other team back, and they got to hike the ball. They got to snap that ball. It's I think it's kind of something that's important. It's a executed play, right? You kind of eliminate that. Like, all right, that's a dramatic part that's gone. But I would like to know how successful is 4th down plays. If they're just a bunch of them, like if it's like 5% chance, then basically the game is gonna end if the other team is 60 yards back from they're not gonna because how many 60-yard plays do you have in NFL?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I would think. Like in terms of the end of the game, is like, all right, there's no chance. You're not gonna get the touchdown from here.
Good. That's a great point. And obviously it would change the whole landscape of certain games, because you're going to have the score outcomes would be different.
Yeah.
But right now, what we've seen, the trend is more and more NFL teams are looking at these analytics and looking at probabilities. Right. A lot more teams, the Detroit Lions being one of them, go for it on 4th down a lot. The Buffalo Bills went for it yesterday on 4th down. They did the fake punt or whatever. That's going for it because it was 4th down. They didn't punt it, and they missed. That was a bad idea because it didn't work, right? But if it works, it's great. But a lot of teams are starting to go for it more on 4th down. When they're at like the midfield or the 40-yard line of the other team and it's 1 or 2 yards, most of the time now we're seeing the team go for it. Especially if you have a running quarterback like Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, they can get you a yard or 2. Back in the day, they would punt that and pin that defense, pin the team at the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 yard line. So we're seeing the 4th down becoming a little bit different, right? And a lot, more teams are going for 2 points situationally, then kicking the extra point. So I'm not for getting rid of field goals, because to your point, I think there's a lot that goes into it: the blocking, the snap, the whole it's very poetic in some ways, right? You got to have a lot of moving parts, right?
Yeah.
But it would definitely make the game interesting in a different way, I think.
Carl came with a really good idea. Set the point value based on the distance of the kick. Interesting. So it's kind of like the big 3. Like if you kick it 70 feet, you should get 5 points. I'm gonna just make shit up, but you know what I mean. Like that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Like basically, if you're within, like if it's 30 yards or low, it's 3. If it's 40 yards to 50, maybe it's 4 points. If it's 50 to 60 yards, it's worth 5. That's interesting, because you keep kicking in, but then you also incentivize for having a guy that can kick long, trying the long kick, which is always a fun thing. I think when we see a guy try to kick a 60-yarder, that's a little more exciting than a 28-yard chip shot. You know what I mean? There's a lot more going into it. It looks different on the TV, the distance and all that, the optics of it. So that's an interesting point.
Yeah. I noticed, Pedro, you show your thumb a lot. Because every time on your screen, every time you show your thumb, they do that stupid thing now where a bunch of thumbs pop out of it, like an overlay. You know what I'm talking about? When you do lives.
Oh, what do you mean? Hold up. Oh, my thumb is there because I'm trying to I'll put the comment up.
No. When you're talking, you kind of talk, and when you do your hand gestures, a thumb pops up. Yeah. So you keep keeps popping up.
And that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning your thumb action.
It's like that thumb action.
No, we don't. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's all right. Oh, I was going to talk about this one, Mr. Giggity. All right, I've watched rugby games. I still don't get it.
Man,
But I watch him. I don't. But I still because I mean, I get the scrum thing. I don't get it. But the fact that they run, and I understand the lateral passing, and you got to get to the other end. So I still watch that shit. Like the Fiji teams, like it's super physical. They don't have protection. They be slamming into each other. But maybe Giggity, if you could explain to me what the hell is how's that work? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is rugby, and what's the scrum? Like, why are they scrumming?
It's a tough sport. It's super popular in a lot of parts of the world, parts of Africa, New Zealand, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's played. I had an old friend that would play it in a men's league in St. Louis, big guy, and he tried to explain it to me once. I just don't get it. So yeah.
Todd, appreciate you coming. I haven't seen you in this live stream, but appreciate you coming, making a comment. Rugby is as boring as golf. That's funny.
That's
have you
ever watched golf?
I could watch. I mean, that's the thing. I understand golf.
Yeah,
I understand the rules. I mean, I never played, but I get golf. I understand par and birdie and eagle. But rugby, I don't know, man. It's a little more. It's a lot more action in the rugby.
It is.
So it depends. But like you see, you want to check out Tiger in his prime and see like a random rugby game. You probably
more golf than rugby. I've watched some Tiger at the Masters. That shit is fucking drama, and it's good when the guys are close. I've watched some Tiger Woods and some other guys. Yeah. Way more golf I've watched than rugby for sure.
But you guys like golf a little bit.
I
think so.
What do you mean?
You.
Me?
Your people.
Puerto Ricans like golf?
Yeah, I think so.
Light skins like golf, I guess.
I think a little bit. Yeah. You got some Spanish professional players I've heard. What's the other guy? What's that really famous one that was
Chichi Rodriguez.
Not that old. It was a dude that was with Tiger. I forgot, a Spanish dude. He was
Sergio
Garcia.
Yeah. He's from Spain.
Yeah, one of those, yeah. I know, yeah, we all came from Spain. We came from Africa, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. I rather watch paint dry than watch golf. Interesting. Rugby, don't like golf. But you know what? But you like that NFL. So we talked a little bit about Ravens, Texans. I mean, after the second half, I stopped watching. They were beating them up really bad.
Yeah.
Like, well, all right, good, good young team. It was a lot of penalties, which is with young teams that don't, this is the first time getting into like really in the thick of the playoffs. And then no running game, so that was pretty much it.
So who are your picks? Who's going to the Super Bowl, Hannibal? Give me your picks, because I got my picks. I want to know yours first.
Okay, so let's see. So the Kansas City Chiefs are going to play the Baltimore Ravens. Now I don't know the betting. Let me see. What's the betting lines? So the Ravens are 3.5-point favorites against Kansas City Chiefs. That feels like that's a pick'em game. It really is. I don't know. Oh, definitely. I don't. Who knows what's going to happen? Do you know? I mean, you have your guess.
If I had a magic 8 ball, that if I knew all the picks, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair.
Well, you'd be out here, right?
but I thought it'd be maybe more than 3.5. I mean, Baltimore's obviously going to be favorite. They're at home. They got Lamar. They got the better.
They look great, right? Of all the teams, they look pretty dominant. And that sometimes we'll overvalue. Oh, they beat the Texans. Like Texas is a good team, but they were not that great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we just going to think, well, yeah, the Ravens is going to run over Kansas City Chiefs? I mean, I think someone put it up already in the chat. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs has been in the AFC playoff game damn near every year.
Every year he's been a starter, 6 years in a row. And yesterday was the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career he played a road playoff game. That's absolutely absurd.
And I think I already know. I think you're going for the Ravens. But to turn around and say the bet against Patrick Mahomes, man, I don't know.
No, listen, this is my hot take. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I am betting on the Chiefs.
I thought you had the Ravens.
I did. I did up until I saw yesterday's game.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes we got to remember what he's been able to do in the playoffs. This dude is super competitive. They were able to get Travis Kelce back involved, 2 touchdowns yesterday. Yeah. I like the emergence of the Rice, the young receiver. I think they Pacheco and with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they can run that ball. We have Coach Reed, an excellent play caller that have way more experience on that side versus the Ravens. The Ravens, I think, are a better team.
Yeah.
But I think the Chiefs can win if the offensive line can protect Patrick Mahomes from all the sacks and all the blitzing that the Ravens do. I think if you give Mahomes enough time, he will carve up the secondary, and the Chiefs are going to pull the upset out. And I think the 49ers beat the Detroit Lions. That's what I'm betting on.
So the Ravens they won 7. They won the last 7 last games with all their starters playing. So everyone's healthy, and when they're all healthy, they win. Like I said, they've been beating up on a lot of teams.
Yeah, they have. The playoffs is different. The playoffs is you have to take the regular season and kind of say, okay, it's a whole new, and the Chiefs look good. Now, they could have lost that game to the Bills, but the Bills are a really good team. I mean, Josh Allen, to me, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are very comparable in how they play. They're both running quarterbacks. They're both very competitive. They can both throw the ball down the field. I think Lamar Jackson's had a better year overall, maybe, but Josh Allen accounted for 50 touchdowns this year, if you include his touchdowns yesterday. So Lamar didn't do that. So I think those quarterbacks are comparable, and the Chiefs were able to, Josh Allen didn't go off. He didn't go crazy yesterday. They lost the game. So I think the Chiefs are the best defense they've had since Mahomes has been there. And I think Mahomes can do just enough on the offensive end with the play calling and his competitiveness. He still has Travis Kelce. I think the Chiefs are going to pull the upset, and I think the 49ers will beat the Lions. So those are my 2 picks. That's what I'm going to place my bet on.
Gotcha. And I mean, your reasoning is sound. I think it's hard to bet against Mahomes. Now, Mahomes has beaten. I mean, Mahomes has lost AFC Championship games, obviously. So it's not, and this could be Lamar's year. Like, this is it. He's the hottest. It's hot. They said defense is pretty strong. I guess I'll show my face now. She's left. She left now. I can have a party. So I feel like I want to go full emotion. Like it would be great for Lamar to get past.
I agree.
And you know what? So I'm gonna go with the Ravens on pure emotion and nonsense. Yeah. And also the fact that they've been playing and been beating up everybody.
Yeah. I like Lamar. I'm not a Lamar hater. I love Lamar. Right. If they go and beat the Chiefs, I'm rooting for the Baltimore Ravens to beat either the Niners or the Lions. But I don't know. I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes yet. Tom Brady was the guy to beat him before, and he lost to Joe Burrow one year when Burrow just was hot, and Jamar Chase and all those guys, right? Yeah. So Lamar, he's hungry. I'll give it to him. He could do it. He's a favorite, but Mahomes, man, he's just different. He's different. He's a new Tom Brady. He's a new Joe Montana, right? So,
are you putting any money in these games?
I'm gonna bet on these 2. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think they're obviously the hotter team. What I forgot who's the guy. He retired. He does stuff on TV now. Not Gronk, but the other big dude. The defensive guy for the Texans for many years. Why am I forgetting this guy's name?
Defensive for the Texans?
Yeah, defensive player. He was there for
TJ Watt.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason I couldn't remember. He was saying of all remember at the beginning of the season, we were going back and forth on what is Lamar doing? He's kind of holding out. Is this a good idea? Yeah. Should the Ravens spend a lot of money on a play that, Lamar was getting hurt the last couple of seasons, but they paid, the Cleveland Browns effed up and paid Deshaun Watson $250 million. What's going on? Is Lamar making a great decision? And remember, the Ravens were kind of saying, shopping around, like, do anyone want to, get Lamar Jackson? And no one bid. Now, I wonder if that was more of a collusion thing rather than they really thought Lamar was not a better quarterback when they had. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's collusion. But JJ Watt was like, if your GM passed the chance to get Lamar Jackson, that GM should be fired. I mean, Lamar Jackson has proved everyone wrong, at least the people who doubted him wrong. Yep. And he's going to get another MVP. And I would love him to get to Super Bowl. So I think I'm falling for the narrative. Lamar's hungry. That
I
sounds
like
like some other guys too.
that's a good point. That's a good point. And if because when he was coming out of Louisville, even after winning the Heisman, people were like, "This guy should be a wide receiver. He's not going to be quarterback."
He's an
And
athlete.
all he's done has been he's going to win a second MVP, so we'll have as many as Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
And if he wins a Super Bowl, which out of the 4 teams left, I think they're the most complete, best team, and he's playing great ball. He'll have an MVP. He'll have a Super Bowl and probably an MVP in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for Lamar. I can't. If I'm a betting man, I have to go with Mahomes if I'm going to lay down $100 because he's been there more. And I think when it comes down to it, he's got the coach that got the play calls, and I think it's a big difference. So if anything, the Ravens need to blow this team out because if it's close and the Chiefs got a chance to get a field goal or get a touchdown in the fourth quarter, I feel like the Chiefs are going to pull it off. So,
yeah, you don't want these close games. For some reason, the Chiefs seem to be able to win close games more than I ever seen. Like it's 2 minutes left and it's still a field goal, kick to either tie or win. That's when they figure it out. They pass to some guy or Kelsey. For some reason, they can't. The guy catches like he's a wide receiver, and they can't. He's too strong and big, so it's crazy. But we'll see, man. So you got the Ravens. Would you say who's going to win the Lions or the? You said the 49ers?
I think the 49ers are a better team as long as somebody else don't get hurt. I do. I think if the Lions would go, I'm not a Lions fan, but I think that would be great for football, great for that fan base.
Yeah.
Because some people think NFL's rigged. Right, you look at the logo, look at the colors, and like, oh, it's going to be the Niners and Ravens. It's purple and red. There's a lot of conspiracies out there. I'm not going to get into that, but you guys have heard of it.
Yeah,
I think if this is really rigged, the best outcome would be Chiefs. You got your poster boy Patrick Mahomes back. They got a great fan. Chiefs and Lions. That will get you the most views. You have the Taylor Swift effect, which is a real thing. Okay, the Taylor Swift effect is a real thing that brings in money and a lot of different fan base. Then you have Detroit. Eminem's going to be at the game. And you got, there's Detroit hasn't been there ever. And the coach is crazy. That would be the best for the media is the Chiefs and the Lions, right? We've seen the 49ers and the Ravens play kind of in recent history. So, and they're the favorites. So it's like, to be expected. So the best matchup, I think, for the conspiracy people and for the NFL and the dollars would be Chiefs and Lions is my opinion. But I don't think the Lions 49ers.
So I guess I'm probably I would like the Detroit Lions to win as well. But it's probably gonna be the 49ers. So basically 49ers still got that pass rush.
Yeah.
How Jared Goff is how well he's gonna play. That's basically it, right? How well is he going to handle? Now at least he said he's been there before. He took a team to the Super Bowl. And also Brock Purdy. What happened? I was actually thinking about this when the Packers were at one point winning. I was like, if this dude loses, what are they going to say about Brock Purdy? Like at this point, like
he played good. The Packers, he played good. He played good.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, like, if when someone loses, it's a whole bunch of questions about should they go with a different quarterback? You know how that usually is. So I was wondering, but good, he kind of pulled it out, obviously. But I mean that run defense is going to be tested against Christian McCaffrey, man. I mean that dude.
That guy's he's just different. I don't think he's so fast too. It's weird. He's good, man. He's real good. He scores a touchdown or two every game.
Yeah,
he got 20-something to I think almost 30 touchdowns. Some stupid amount of touchdowns this year. It's ridiculous. So they're gonna ride on him. But I'm excited. I think we got the best 4 teams left. I think that's good for football, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. So
yeah. Bobby says the best matchup for the real fans would be the 2 number 1 seeds. I mean, they're the best. Usually the best teams, but I would say there's going to be an upset. I don't think the 2 number 1 seeds are going to win. I think someone is going to win.
If there's going to be an upset, you're thinking more of the Lions upsetting the 49ers is what I'm hearing from you. And I'm thinking more of the Chiefs upsetting the Ravens.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I mean, then there's another question. What's the most likely upset? To me, it probably would be the Lions upsetting the 49. No, yeah, because Kansas City beating the Ravens is not a surprise.
It's an upset though.
It's an upset, but you know what I mean. Like in terms of the narrative, like it's not like Patrick Mahomes beat. I'm sure he beat Lamar before. So, but the Lions. Again, who thought the Lions were going to be here in the beginning of the season? No one.
Not many. I mean,
not a soul, unless you were a Detroit fan. That's only, and you're still delusional. But the 49ers were meant to be here, or at least close, right? They thought at least should be getting to the Super Bowl, at least to the.
I think the Lions. I think they've exceeded expectations a little bit. I think a lot of people have probably had them in the playoffs. They ended the year last year really well. They drafted well. Their draft class. The reason the Detroit Lions are in the NFC Championship game is because of their general manager and the coaching staff. They drafted Jamar Gibbs with the 12th pick, which was like people were like scratching their head. A running back, ugh. And they let go of DeAndre Swift, which had a good year last year. They drafted Sam Laporta, the tight end from wherever he's from. And then they got the Barnes guy, the linebacker. All these guys are integral parts. Gibbs and Laporta are a big, major percentage of their touchdown production the entire year from rookies. So the GM has really cultivated this team, brought them together, like built this team. Obviously, they got the crazy coach, Dan Campbell. It's what's not to like about him. You know, he's very passionate.
Yeah, you want to play well for him. You want to play. Cares.
Yeah. But Bobby says the Lions defense can be gross. Their secondary is not very good. But, you know, sort of 49ers might carve them up. Even without Deebo Samuel, they got Brandon Ayuk. They got George Kittle. They got McCaffrey. They can do everything. So, yeah, I mean, if anything, man, I think Lions, it's going to be harder for the Lions to beat the 49ers than it is for the Chiefs to beat the Ravens.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. So, like, if you use your logical brain, you know, Kansas City, Ravens, obviously you pick what you think is the more stronger idea in terms of do you believe more in Patrick Mahomes, or do you think just the stronger, better team, the hotter team, should they pull out? But yeah, if you're betting on the Detroit Lions, you're just going on a prayer of, not to say a prayer, but you're going for the I guess that emotional feeling of finally figuring out. I mean, Jared Goff to take another team to Super Bowl, that's a big fucking deal.
That's a big deal. And taking Detroit to a Super Bowl would be crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. That, you know, some people think these things are rigged. If anything, Lions Chiefs is the best matchup for maybe not the best game, but that's the best for the NFL, right?
Yeah.
It really would be, I think. But we'll see. We might get a 49ers Ravens. It might be chalk. It might and that could be a very good game. Very defensive minded, tough teams. You know, a lot of star power, good players. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting this weekend.
So the 49ers are a 7-point favorite.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it. I don't know. It can go one way or another. But maybe Lions could, you know, take the points for the Lions. The 49ers may blow them out.
I feel like my bet's going to be the points. I'm going to take the Chiefs to cover. So, and I think they'll win. And even if they lose by 1 or 2 points, then I'm good, right?
Yeah.
I take the Lions to cover because I do think it could still be a close enough game. The Lions have a really good offense. They can put up points in a hurry. So, you know, I think my bet isn't going to be money line. It's going to be Lions to cover, Chiefs to cover.
Yeah, that's a good logical, not too crazy. Not, you know, you may not make a whole lot of money, but at least you get something. The whole conspiracy thing.
What do you think about it?
If something were to happen, someone would say something. The idea that no one, you know, we give a lot of credit to certain organizations.
Yeah.
The White House can't get anything to not be leaked. The White House. Government, because, you know, like all these things that's coming out, these are leaks. You telling me that the government can have leaks, but the NFL is some type locked thing that if there were someone doing something we wouldn't know about it. Same thing with the NBA. With some people complain about how the draft balls like bounce around, like what happened to the Knicks. I mean, at this point, someone should have came out and said, yeah, that was rigged. Like someone.
You would think, because the way social media and everybody wants attention or money or this or that.
Yes.
I agree with you. I think when I see these NFL conspiracy stuff, I laugh. And maybe some of y'all in the chat think it's conspiracy. Let us know. But I absolutely, there's way too many variables
Exactly.
for the beginning of the year with the colors and like, oh, we're gonna pick the Ravens and the no. There's way too many variables. People get hurt. These human beings are tackling each other at
Yeah.
like, come on, guys. Like, come on. So you mean to tell me the Ravens were gonna go to the Super Bowl and the 49ers regardless? And you were hoping that Lamar Jackson wouldn't get hurt? Because the second somebody gets hurt, it changes everything. If Christian McCaffrey's not on the 49ers because he gets hurt the first week, they're not going to the Super Bowl. So there's too many variables for there to be a conspiracy. So I think a lot of people just like to be cute and think that they know everything. And there's no way that the two teams were already picked at the beginning of the year who's going to go. And you see some ex-athletes saying that there's a script. So I've seen some players come out and say, yeah, there's a script, or they say that they said this and they misquoted, and it's ridiculous. I just don't. I think it's weird.
Yeah. Bobby says disgruntled, delusional, degenerate gamblers or conspiracy theories. I mean, yeah. I mean, when you lose a lot of money and you start to put things together of why you lost instead of just saying you just was not lucky or you thought you had some information and it didn't work out. Then you start to it's scripted. Well, if you feel like it's scripted, do not bet. Like,
how could you bet? Yeah,
right.
Unless you think that it's scripted in your favor, and you're like, well, then I'm definitely going to bet. But I don't. It's sports to me is entertainment. I like it. I like obviously we love it. We talk about sports and whether it's boxing or football or basketball, whatever, right? Golf, right? But to me, it's just it's entertainment, and I try not to take it too serious because that's what it is. But it's not scripted. I mean, there's way too many variables for and too many different outcomes. There's too many human beings. And to your point, there's no way it would still be it would have been uncovered by now, right?
That's obviously, like especially like I said, to get that attention, make some money, blackmail. There's all types of stuff of why certain things get leaked. Things get leaked on purpose. So I think it's just these games are played and they win. There's winners and losers. But speaking of losers, the Tampa Bay Bucks. So in your opinion, should the Bucks gonna just keep Baker Mayfield? Like that's their guy? They're gonna ride with homeboy?
Baker Mayfield's gonna get a contract. He's gonna get some money. And I think I'm not a big Baker Mayfield fan, but he deserves it. He got kicked around, Panthers, and went to the Rams for a few games, and after Cleveland. But I think he found a home. I mean, he won a playoff game. He won the division after Tom Brady left. I mean, I think you give him a 3 or 4 year deal. I think he deserves that.
Yeah. Well, I would say that's one of the biggest surprises of the season. The fact that Baker revived his career, because that kind of similar to Jared Goff. No one thought that this is it. I mean, the fact that you got that many chances were actually pretty remarkable. But he kind of put it together. So I guess we'll see what happens in the next couple of months with him. So we got our picks. Covers basically. I may go straight. I don't know. I may go straight.
If it's 7, I'm gonna do covers. The Lions to cover. Because even if they would, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna bet a lot, but I'm gonna make it interesting. So we'll see. Makes
sense. So this story, Pedro wanted me to talk about exclusively. He sent me a message about this. He was like, "Hey, we gotta talk about this," and he told me this story, and I was like, "All right, that's cool." I mean, I don't know if he's trying to tell us something about this story or what he's thinking about, but I'm just going to put it out there. So there's a rapper. I never heard of this person, but apparently he's very popular on the TikTok, which I know the age of the guys who, the girls who check out this channel, who cares about TikTok? I understand, like I agree, but me and Pedro, at least me, like I said, I don't know about Pedro. I need it for content. I'm farming content. All right. I'm back in the back there. I'm pulling out the weeds of all the stupid shit. And I'm like, what's making sense? So his name is what? Zeddy or something? So I guess it's cover the whole thing. So this is the guy in the middle right there. You check the left. This story is kind of going all over the place. That he got 5 women pregnant at the same time and had a baby shower with all of them.
I saw this on my TikTok, or I think it was maybe on YouTube. I saw it somewhere, and I'm looking at it today. I'm like, is that real? And then I'm thinking like, yeah, maybe it could be. Look at these chicks. Like, look at this guy. Like, he's either the new Nick Cannon, but he's like doing it all at the same time. Like, should I be envious of this dude? Is he a clown? Like, I have no idea what to think. So I was like, what's Hannibal think about this dude? Like, what is this real? Is it not? Like, and they're pregnant, and it looks like a lot of them are pregnant. About like they all got bumps, so that means he was bagging these chicks all within several different, like within weeks at a time. It's crazy, crazy. And this guy can't make, even if he's got a lot of money, he ain't got a lot of money anymore. These kids are gonna cost him a lot of bread. So yeah.
So one of them is actually an artist, like a fellow artist. Her name is Lizzie Chescalia. I don't know who she like, apparently, but she has a Instagram. It has music, like she's a part of this. This has to be a well coordinated, like
you think this is like a on purpose?
It has to be a viral stunt. I mean, who do you just get? You get 5 pregnant, decently, good looking chicks. So they're not ugly. All together to do a fake shoot for TikTok? Maybe. I mean, at this point, you can't. I mean, we ran a story about. We talked about a story about this guy spending $62,000 on OnlyFans in 1 month, and it turned out that was completely bullshit. It was fake. Yeah. It was to promote her OnlyFans. So, you probably say he needs to work on his plug. I think it was on purpose, obviously. Like
this could definitely be. He knows these girls, and maybe one of them is gonna have his kid, and the other ones are friends, and they're like, hey, let's do this for publicity. Let's plug our channels. Let's plug our music. I mean, if that's the case, I ain't mad at them. If it's a business decision, and they're just basically just laughing at all of us, like, yo, you didn't really think he knocked all of us, and they're all getting money. They're all getting followers on their grams now. Yeah. It could be that. I think you bring up a good.
So his name is Zeddy, Zeddy. On TikTok, he has 2.5 million followers. I'm telling you now, I'm telling you as, content creators, I know Pedro has 80,000 subscribers, some crazy thing like that. He's a celebrity. But at the same time, do followers matter? I mean, he has 2.5. I never heard this man at all. I mean, this man could have came here, took a dump in the middle of the floor. I would not know who he is. Yeah, it don't matter anymore, right?
it really don't. Because I think we also have to remember, for the average person like Hannibal and I, it's not easy to get people to follow you, right? It's not. It's actually really hard if you do it the right way. But we have to understand there are people out here that want to be influencers, and they really care about that number, and they'll do anything, whether it's buying them, making fake accounts, whether that's making fake stories up to get clout. So a lot of people do that, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. I just saw it and I was like, damn. 5, and I'm thinking to myself, that's I'm impressed, but I'm also like a little saddened by like this guy's whole rest of his life. Like, that can't be the kids. What do they think? Like, there's a lot of falling dominoes here,
Yeah. Read that comment from Giggity.
He's the Oprah of cream pies. Everybody gets one.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So,
giggity.
I think the story is fake.
You think it's fake?
I think he's coming out with a song or something, some song that's and it'll turn out like he may have had maybe one of those children. Yeah. But even if it's more than one, it's crazy. Even if he said I lied, there's 2 of them. So you knocked out 2 women around the same time, and they all okay with you. Like, so if it's one, I'm like, all right, well, interesting stunt, obviously. But if it's like 2 or 3, no, I didn't have all 5 of them, or I have all 4 of them, just like 3. Like, what?
Yeah,
still crazy.
Crazy. I mean, what's the Biggie line? The Biggie line, the hip hop Biggie line was he knocked up 2 sisters or some shit, right? Like, I mean, who knows? But like, I think to knock up 2 chicks at once, not the end of the world. It happens. A lot of people move like that. 5. That's a whole nother level. That's
so I think. All right, guys. So I'm going in. I'm thinking of what Mr. Bet on You, Pedro's mind right now. He's looking at those chicks. He saw the pictures, like, man, I should be able to impregnate 5 hot chicks at the same time and have a baby shower. That'll be real pimpish.
I mean, yeah. I think the
Right?
one on I like the one on the left, the smile with the white. I like the 2 girls in the white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear
The other ones they look a little too ratchet for me. I like
you.
the 2 chicks. The 2 chicks in the white are the ones I think that look good. The other ones look too much.
The girl that's right to the right of the rapper Zeddy, the one with she has dreads or some kind of
dread. Yeah.
She looks like Angela Rye or something. You know who Angela Rye is?
No.
She's a commentator. She's on she's probably on CNN yelling at anyone that's conservative. I think she's actually with Jalen Rose.
Oh, I probably know her face, but I didn't know that.
You probably know her face. So let me see her. Let me show her face and see that.
Yeah, pull up.
It looked like Rachel Ray. I mean, not Rachel Ray. Angela Rye. This chick. Does she look kind of very familiar? Actually, I'm sorry. I'm showing you something, but the problem is big ass pictures blocking. Okay, cool. Does she look? They look like familiar. A little bit.
A little bit. She looked, and here looks a little older.
Yeah, but I think apparently, she's on like CNN. She's yelling at a conservative. You guys are terrible. Blah, 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 blah. Trying to find a picture that, kind of. I mean,
a little bit. You know who I saw do an interview somewhere, and she looked way better this time than when you first showed me that Ruby Rose chick.
Yeah,
she's bad.
She's attractive. Yeah, I mean, she looks like every
good looking.
Rapper chick at this point. They all have that same look. They all go to the same goddamn stylish and stuff. But I mean, she made a lot of money off that publicity stuff because we thought, what woman be that interesting? I'm sorry, that sounded rude. Okay, or at least at a point where you would spend that much money.
Yeah.
On their OnlyFans.
No way. No.
And then we all thought, and then I'm sure many of us probably looked at that story and went on OnlyFans and subscribed. And she probably made hundreds of thousands of dollars because we're all horny.
Probably. And I wasn't one of them, but I mean, maybe Hannibal was. I don't know. I gotta check his, search engine. But
no. There's too much pornography out there. First of all,
for free.
It's for free, but at the same time, I think a lot of us are doing it too much. So, fellas, take a break. Don't get yourself desensitized by watching so much weird shit that when you actually are with a real partner, you can't perform because you're watching, 3 bazillions doing some kind of, acrobatic gymnastics moves.
Why are they Brazilian?
I'm a fan. Well, they do good work. Brazilians, they're great with that. Mixed martial arts, obviously, but they're really good with that. It doesn't matter who. You're looking at fake performative.
Speaking the truth, we decentralize ourselves, and then when you're with a real woman or your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, it's not good, right? Because you're having an unhealthy relationship a lot of times with porn, and it's a issue for a lot of men, right? For sure. So I think you bring up a great, very serious point, but you're right on the money with that.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to not go too crazy. I mean, obviously, addiction is where whatever that's your addiction to is affecting your life, your work life, your relationships. So don't go too crazy, and obviously, do not pay for it. I mean, if anything, I understand why they do it, or why people who decide to spend money on OnlyFans. It's that parasocial relationship. They are trying to get a real relationship, and the fact that they can text and they respond. It's you rather just go find a real woman, and they have to pay for it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Real women actually want to be kissed. Shaking my head. So Bobby ain't wanted no kissing. He wants to just pay for it and leave. He ain't trying to do none of that.
If you're paying, you probably don't want to kiss. I'm assuming, right?
Oh, that's nasty.
Right? That's nasty.
That's nasty, bro. Listen, There's no way. There's no way. No way.
Fair enough. Not enough money. Not enough money for Pedro to even suggest to do that.
Listen, if you want me to kiss some broad that's been doing all kinds of things with all kinds of people, you better bring a couple of Brinks trucks.
Brinks trucks.
I ain't trying to get no diseases. I'm good.
Fair enough on that one. But at the same time, guys, listen. Yeah, protect yourself. Don't do too much crazy stuff like that. Kind of, rein it in if that's the problem. I think Carl said that Carl Anthony Towns scored like 62 points.
62
so,
points?
So maybe we can spend a little time tomorrow ranting about how terrible NBA defense is or the offense. These points explosions are not good. So you know what? I'm not even going to start it. I know Pedro does not agree with me on this one.
Well, we'll get into that tomorrow. I'm going to
we'll get into that because it's impressive.
Hold on, let me see. They lost. So you score 62 and your team leaves. That tells me a lot.
What do they lose to though?
3 to the Hornets.
Hornets?
Career high 62 points. Not enough as Wolves fall to Hornets. Oh
Hornets?
Yeah. We'll get into
LaMelo Ball just was doing it because he's out there. All right, so I'll just do a little tease. We'll talk about this on Wednesday. I've seen in the past week at least 2 or 3 plays where a guy is able to dribble around, throw the ball at the backboard, grab it, and dunk it. I've seen it several times. In the 90s, that didn't happen. You would get put on your ass. There's no way you're going to throw. And I've seen it from Wemby, which I understand. The guy's like 8 feet tall. They probably didn't even think he could do that. I think LaMelo Ball, like a few other players, like are just like, oh, I guess no one's playing defense. Let me go, and it's damaging the game. So we're gonna talk about it. It's Wednesday, not tomorrow, Carl.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll I'm gonna rant about that for about 20 minutes, and then obviously I'm sure some other crazy shit's gonna be going on. We'll talk about
another story or 2 or 3, and we'll see if something happens in the NFL. We'll talk about it, but it should be the same. 62 points and you lose. How do you feel? Let me ask you an outgoing question in the intro to Wednesday. You score 62 points, but your team loses. How do you feel going into the locker room? You feeling good or bad?
I'm feeling bad. You lost. Exactly. It may feel a little worse, but wow, I put on such a great, and you can't celebrate it. You're not be able to take it in probably until you finish playing and you retire. You're kind of thinking back of good performances, but you want to win. You want, Kobe scoring 81. It had to be a win. If it was a loss, it would be like, what the fuck he spent his time doing? Or Joel right now, 70 points. First of all, you better beat the Spurs. But if you lost, because Spurs is not winning any games. Like Wemby, he's going to be Rookie of the Year. Great. Like after he lost, I think the Rookie of the Month, apparently to Chet, he was like, he took it personally. Yeah. And his point totals, rebounds, like the dude's balling.
He's doing everything. Yeah.
But you drop 33 points and lose, you mad. Like, I fucking, so I think you shouldn't feel that great. Winning that's the most important thing. I just feel like some of the offense, some of the traveling they're not calling, it's a problem. But we're going to definitely get into that on Wednesday, guys. So Wednesday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. I don't know the rest of the time zones. You got to figure it out. But thank you for coming through tonight. We'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. Peace.